Greetings and welcome back to another episode of 1320 Time Stream, where we're covering the wave spell of the Yellow Warrior. We're on our 10th day today, getting through it pretty quickly actually. And so let's check out the Planetary Serpent's data for today before getting into our little breath meditation. And then we'll get into covering a little bit more of the details. Red Planetary Serpent. Okay, so the breath for this one is going to be in our left wrist and our right big toe. Left wrist, right big toe, in breath. Begin. Okay, a couple nice breaths for the Planetary Serpent energy. The first thing we're going to go into is that today will be that fourth mystic moon. These moons are the ones that are represented. See, this wave spell and the 2 days before this wave spell are known as the 7 last moons and the 7 mystic moons, which are all factored by what's known as the Book of 7 Generations, and are also what's known as the 7 solar witnesses. Now, the 7 solar witnesses represent the 7 last moons, and those 7 last moons are the 7 final 28-day cycles before the 2013 shift. And then the 7 mystic moons are the 7 moons coming into the new age. Now, both the 7 last moons and the 7 mystic moons each have a chakra charge to them, from crown to heart. Crown, root, third eye, sacral, throat, will, and heart. Starts from the top, goes to the bottom, top, bottom, center. So it spirals into the center, always ending in the heart. And so today we're on the 4th mystic moon, which is to say that we're in the 4th moon of coming into those essential qualities of the new world. And so again, how are we embodying that new world? And so I find it totally appropriate that today the Planetary Serpent is on the sacral chakra moon. We've done the crown chakra, root chakra. Yesterday was the third eye chakra, and today we are the sacral chakra. So that being said, now we're going to get into that Planetary Serpent. Now yesterday, I find it really makes sense when we carry the energy of like the spirit into the void of the night. There's something there that creates the seed. This kind of shining spark is created in the darkness, and then the serpent is like almost like that seed sprouting, like a little flower sprout through the ground, like a little serpent energy. And in this way, the serpent I find today is really representing that life force aspect that is part of its 3 words: survival, instinct, and love. Survival, life force, and instinct. It really stands out to me. Less as much as the survival, or more so than the survival. The survival is less as much. Really feeling it, and it's because it's coupled with the sacral chakra. It's because it's also coupled with the planetary tone, and because it's right after it's always after the seed. The serpent's right after the seed, but the solar seed is really about this intentional seed, and so you have this very specific thing that is germinating and is being birthed. And so today really feels like as we come into our sacral and go into that sacred, sexual, sensual space, the serpent is helping us really manifest that, help really perfect that energy, bring it into the world of being. What are the dreams? What are the secrets? What is your sexual energy? What are your waters nurturing? Very much like a plant or a lotus, and a lot of the analogies, our sexual energy is the water of consciousness. It's also the water to our body energetically, and it's the water to many of these frameworks. It's part of what is the flow. It helps us process emotions. Our heart is not the only thing that feels emotions. The sexual energy is actually, it's like the heart's translation of our sexual energy that actually comes back as our emotions, because it's like our heart and our sacral, many different parts of our body as well as physical organs are receiving it as well. But these are some of the main energy triggers. And when we talk about emotion and feelings, this is what's kind of being interacted. And so being in the sacral chakra is giving us an opportunity to go into the emotional body, go into the attunement of that particular space. And so today on that whole mystic moon kind of energy, the invitation into the sacral chakra is like, well, how are we going to embody an ascended quality of our sacred sexual sacral nature, right? And the serpent really helps us with that, because not only are we the life force and sexual energy of the serpent, we're the planetary tone, which is perfecting and producing that energy, and so it really wants to be. And so today's a really good day to go into that energy to help rewrite your destiny from fate to destiny. And why do I say that? Well, the way I see it, and everyone's allowed to see things in their own way, fate is where you end up, and destiny is kind of like where you're supposed to be. And I guess within this terminology, yes, you can screw up your destiny. If you indulge and just kind of, really get off your path. I know that this is a very what the hell are you talking about? That sounds so, dualistic. You're right, it does sound dualistic. I don't know if I necessarily have the words to explain this, but I would say if you get messages and you get signs and you hear the voice of your higher self or whatever that is, and you ignore it, then you're going towards your fate. It's what you're fated to, where you're fated to end up. Your destiny, however, is when you really go into that, oh yeah, cool, and you trust and you learn and you grow and you evolve, then you are in alignment with your destiny. And that's also why, these symbols, combinations of sign and tone are called destiny seals or destiny signatures and galactic signatures, your destiny seal. So, yeah, really allowing our destinies to be rewritten from fate to destiny, because you could say there is the fate of the world. And the fate of the world is representing the entirety of humanity living in an unconscious state, which essentially is a path towards individual and global destruction. And so when we talk about this ascended nature, we get to go into each one of our chakras in this little portals of the moons here, and then go and bring each one of those energy centers and how we embody them to its ascended embodied quality. And very much like we were talking about in many other days, this ascended quality is not really representing, let's say, flying away, disappearing into the cosmos, like ascension. Ascension is transcending your old patterns. It's embodying the true actual you. It's embodying different qualities, embodying these lightened qualities, but living as them, bringing them into being. This is that heaven on earth energy. And so in this way, we're really working with the sacral chakra via the serpent, the planetary serpent energy, perfecting that sexual energy and perfecting all that shines through, as well as perfecting nurturing those areas which are, about your regular life, that survival, that instinct energy. Instinct is not unlike intuition, but it's much more visceral. It's more while intuition is more of a feeling aspect, that instinct is more of a reactionary aspect. And so in line with how are we, attuning and kind of recreating our sacral chakra, well, through the serpent's instinctual nature, we can take a look at that and go, well, I'm going to start or continue reprogramming my sacral-based reactions, my sacral-based instincts. It's if we had an instinct that had to do with fight or flight, and this is an example, because this is not necessarily a sacral instinct, though it may be. Maybe we're bringing some more, emotion. Maybe we're okay, instead of this instinct where I would do, say, fight or flight, all of a sudden this event happens and you become stiller, and then you're more available to open up, to receive what's actually going on, as opposed to contracting and wanting to leave, right? Because these are all part of our collective patterns, whether conscious or unconscious. So there's an example in that respect. So I'm going to leave us there when it comes to the wave spell, and we're going to move on to the affirmation. Stay tuned.